December the 7th, 1941, 7:55 a.m., Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The USS Arizona sits peacefully at her mooring in Battleship Row. Sailors are having breakfast. Some are writing letters home. Others are getting ready for church services. It's a quiet Sunday morning in paradise. Then the sky fills with planes. Over 350 Japanese aircraft descend on Pearl Harbor in two massive waves. Zeros strafe the airfields. Dive bombers scream down on battleships. Torpedo planes skim across the water, releasing death into the calm harbor. Within minutes, the Arizona explodes. A bomb penetrates her forward magazine. The detonation is so massive it lifts the 32,000-ton battleship out of the water. 1,177 men die instantly. The Oklahoma capsizes, trapping hundreds inside. The California and West Virginia sink at their moorings. By the time the attack ends, over 2,400 Americans are dead. 21 ships are sunk or damaged. The Pacific Fleet is crippled. America enters World War II. But let's change one thing. Standing on the deck of the USS Arizona at 7:48 a.m., 7 minutes before the attack begins, is something that shouldn't exist for another 80 years. A United States Navy SEAL from 2024, fully armed, watching the sky, and knowing exactly what's about to happen. Well, I like to get frisky, and I'm sending a SEAL back to save Pearl Harbor. First, let's see what we just dropped into 1941. Our SEAL has an M4A1 carbine with 420 rounds across 14 magazines, a sidearm, 4 grenades, body armor, and modern optics. More importantly, he knows what's coming. He knows the Japanese carrier fleet is 230 miles north. He knows the attack hits in 7 minutes. And he knows that hundreds of his fellow sailors are about to die. The Japanese attack force consists of 6 aircraft carriers carrying 353 aircraft total. The first wave has 183 planes. The second wave has 170. They're flown by Japan's best pilots, veterans of the China campaign, men who have trained for months specifically for this attack. Their plan is surgical. First wave hits battleships and airfields simultaneously. Zeros strafe the airfields to prevent American planes from taking off. Dive bombers attack the capital ships. Torpedo bombers focus on Battleship Row. The second wave comes an hour later to finish anything still afloat. Our SEAL has 7 minutes to change history. He sprints to the Arizona's general quarters alarm and pulls it. The klaxon blares across the ship. Sailors stare at this man in strange camouflage, but they move to battle stations anyway. Across the harbor, a handful of other ships hear the alarm. Some commanders think it's a drill. A few cautious ones order their own ships to general quarters just in case. Those few ships are about to survive. The SEAL moves to the forward deck with clear sight lines to the harbor entrance. He checks his rifle. 14 magazines, 420 rounds against 353 aircraft. It's nothing, but it's something. 7:55 a.m. The first Japanese planes appear. For most of the fleet, it's complete surprise. Sailors look up in confusion at planes with red circles on their wings. Then the bombs start falling, but the ships at general quarters are ready. Gun crews are already manning their positions. Watertight doors are sealed. When the first torpedo bombers come screaming in low over the water, they're met with anti-aircraft fire. The SEAL aims at the first Kate torpedo bomber lining up on the Arizona. He's not aiming at the aircraft. He's aiming at the pilot. At 200 yards, through his optic, he can see into the cockpit. 3-round burst. The cockpit glass shatters. The Kate veers left, its torpedo dropping into empty water. The plane crashes into Ford Island. Second Kate coming in fast. Same shot. The pilot slumps forward. The aircraft noses down and hits the water, never releasing its torpedo. Third Kate. This pilot sees his wingman go down and adjusts his approach, coming in lower and faster. The SEAL fires. The Kate shudders, but releases its torpedo. The Arizona's helm is already hard over. 7 minutes of warning means her engines are warming up instead of cold. The torpedo passes 10 feet astern. The SEAL keeps firing. Fourth Kate. Fifth. Sixth. Each magazine holds 30 rounds. He shoots in controlled 3-round bursts. Not every burst hits. Not every hit kills. But enough do. Magazine 1, empty. 3 aircraft down. Magazine 2, empty. 2 more down. The Arizona's 5-inch guns hammer the sky. The SEAL's rifle is a pinprick compared to this firepower, but he's hitting targets the big guns can't track. The fast-moving torpedo bombers skimming the waves. The dive bombers pulling out of their runs at low altitude. A Zero strafes the deck. The SEAL tracks it. Leads it. Fires. The canopy shatters. The Zero slams into the water. Magazine 3, empty. Magazine 4, empty. The SEAL has killed or damaged 11 aircraft, 11 torpedoes that never reached their targets. Those 11 planes were all targeting Battleship Row. Ships that would have sunk are still afloat. A Val dive bomber screams down toward the Arizona from 10,000 feet. The SEAL can't track something that fast at that angle. The bomb hits the forward deck, penetrates deep. This is the bomb that historically caused the catastrophic magazine explosion. But the Arizona went to general quarters 7 minutes early. The forward magazines were flooded as a precaution. The bomb detonates in flooded compartments. The explosion is massive but contained. Fire erupts from the forward section. The Arizona shudders but stays afloat. Across the harbor, the Oklahoma takes 3 torpedo hits instead of 9. Her crew counterfloods immediately. She lists heavily but stays upright. The California takes 2 torpedoes, but her watertight integrity holds. The West Virginia's crew fights flooding and keeps her from sinking. The Nevada was already planning to get underway. The early alarm means she's ready 10 minutes ahead of schedule. When the attack begins, she's moving toward the harbor entrance. She takes 4 bomb hits but makes it to open sea. The SEAL burns through 8 more magazines during the first wave. Each magazine is 10 potential bursts. Not every burst connects, but he's disrupting attack runs, forcing pilots to evade, making them drop ordnance early or miss targets. Magazine 12, empty. 60 rounds left. 8:40 a.m. The second wave arrives. 170 aircraft. The SEAL switches to semi-automatic fire, conserving ammunition. 1 shot when possible. He targets dive bombers at the bottom of their runs, when they're low and slow. He targets Zeros making strafing passes. He doesn't waste rounds on targets too fast or too far. Magazine 13, empty. At 9:15 a.m. Magazine 14, empty. At 9:40 a.m. The SEAL draws his sidearm, 45 rounds. The range against aircraft is essentially 0, but he fires anyway at targets of opportunity. It's futile. The last Japanese plane turns north at 9:45 a.m. The SEAL stands on the Arizona's burning deck, weapons empty. Around him, sailors fight fires and tend to wounded. The harbor is covered in oil and debris. Ships are burning. Men are dying, but not as many. Final count. The Arizona is heavily damaged but afloat. The Oklahoma is listing but hasn't capsized. The California is on the bottom but salvageable. The West Virginia is wounded, but her damage control saved her. The Nevada escaped to open sea. Casualties are around 1,200 instead of 2,400. Still catastrophic. Still a tragedy. Still a day that will live in infamy. But 1,200 sailors who died in our timeline are alive in this one. Those 1,200 men will fight at Midway, Guadalcanal, the Philippine Sea, Leyte Gulf, Okinawa. That's 1,200 experienced sailors the Navy keeps. That's 1,200 fathers who come home. The SEAL killed approximately 18 aircraft, damaged another dozen. He prevented multiple torpedo and bomb hits. He bought 7 minutes of warning that saved 5 ships. He didn't stop the attack. He didn't prevent the war. He didn't save everyone. But he saved some. And sometimes some is all you get. Or what do you think would happen? Could the SEAL have done more? What if he'd had an hour of warning? What if there were 10 SEALs at Pearl Harbor? Let me know in the comments. And if you're curious what would happen if a Navy SEAL fought 100 samurai, check out that video. Thanks for watching.